my friends, today we're creating an overall bronzy themed look. I've done my base, but I'm leaving the cheeks, eyes, and lips so I can show you what I'm doing there. So I just was in the mood to do this. I have a palette that I think is going to be perfect for this on the eyes. I'm using my Sydney Grace Perfectly Balanced. You can see what's in there. I think it's going to be a great bronzy look today. So yeah, let's get started. I'll tell you what is already on my face. I decided to do this little combo again. At one point in time, I was all about this duo, the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in the deep bronze shade. So that's all over my skin and it's giving me this kind of glowy, bronzy look. And then I go on top of that with the True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum Light 2-3. And it really leaves you fairly glowy, but just deepens up your look a little bit. But then I'm like, oh boy, I need the coverage too. So I pulled out my Infallible Full Wear Concealer, also from L'Oreal. That's in the shade Ivory, and that took care of everything going on the under eye area. Then I set it with some Wet n Wild Photo Focus translucent powder that's on my T-zone, my under eye area as well. And I wanted to feel set all over, so I also threw on some of my e.l.f. Halo Glow powder filter in light neutral. So this is a great little pressed powder actually, and I just lightly use that all over my skin. So we're wanting to really bump up the bronze at this point with some actual contour and bronzer products. So I thought I'd pull out one that I do love, but I failed to talk about a whole lot. It's from ColourPop and it's the Bronze Sticks. This shade is called Moonstone Beach, and these are extremely blendable, nice to work with, really good tone as well. So I'm gonna pop that in my bronzer zones, contour zones. So I plan to do that and then go in with some bronzer to really warm things up all over. There we go. See how easy that blends in? Super good. I just don't always think about this one for whatever reason, but I do love it. Makes really quick work of the process. I hope you guys had a good weekend. You know what I made for dinner last night? It's just some good old spaghetti. Nothing fancy, but we were all kind of in the mood for it. And then I'm like, doggone it, I forgot garlic bread. You guys know, like nothing sets off a little spaghetti dinner like one of those pieces of Texas toast garlic bread. And I didn't have it, but what I did have were some hamburger buns that I kind of knew weren't going to get used anytime soon. So I thought, you know, let's just pop these open, butter them, garlic salt, throw them in the oven for a little bit, and they gobbled those things up. It was so good, and I think they thought it was extra good because they'd been swimming for several hours. Okay, there we go. Great contour, like I said, easily blendable. I think it's a really good shade. Not too light, not too dark. I'm into that. Moonstone Beach is the shade. Then I want to go in and really bronze it up with some CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer. This is Caramel Truffle. Great shade here, and it does add a little bit of glowiness to the skin. You can see there's some shimmer in this. Not too much, but it's there. And I'm going for like a bronzy glow in the look. So I'm going to take that over where I contoured and then like a little extra. For example, not just the contoured part of the forehead, but the whole forehead lightly. Not just going over this area, but starting to bring it up where, almost where blush goes. See? It's a good look. See, I love that. I love that little natural sheen that's giving my skin right now. And then we're going to talk about blush, and I feel the need for this look to pull in. I know I just used it in the last video, but the e.l.f. stick, the Soft Glam Cream Blush in the shade Cinnamon, I feel like it's going to pair so perfectly with this look, and we're going to take it up right in here. See this tone? It's rich, but it blends out so beautifully. So taking my Sephora 56, my smaller of the two that I own, one that I use for blush. And I just kind of like the way that works into the contour tone. Bright pink blushes are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but if you're going for a real like monochromatic, bronzy everywhere kind of look, there's something about a color like this that just melts into things. I'm keeping it pretty high because I do have one more plan where blush is concerned today, and we'll see how glowy it makes me. And if I think I want highlighter, I might throw that on too. I just love that Cinnamon color. I think it's so nice. And then I pulled out Berry Amore from Milani, their baked blush range. See how that's kind of got a, you know, at a glance you think it's like a soft tan type of blush. And I just want to see what this looks like layered up, okay? So I'm going to pick some up on my e.l.f. blush brush. Pop that over top. I like that look. The glow isn't overwhelming. I'm gonna go straight over the nose with it. See how soft that is? But it seemed kind of smoothing, actually. It's almost like a little glowy powder you feel like you could go practically anywhere on the face with. For a little more glow, let's stick with Milani. I'm taking Dolce Perla right here. Real Technique setting brush. And a little bit of that right in here. Getting that glowy look, but not having to feel wet and sticky. Having hope of good staying power, you know. I dig. Then I'm going to take some of my Milani Make It Last Moisture Boost. And I think this is going to really be the cherry on top for how the surface of my skin looks here. It doesn't take a lot to just make everything look so real life. So having done that now, I'm going to do my brows and then we'll do the eye look. I used ColourPop Brow Boss in dark brown. And then I used my Maybelline Super Lock Brow Gel in deep brown. Gosh, it just reminded me of a dream I had. I was talking to Mom about how I had some brow pencils on hand in real life. And then in the dream, this is what I was dreaming right before I woke up. I was searching for brow pencils and I couldn't find her shade. I found like all these other shades. Yep, it's going through my head even as I sleep. Okay, e.l.f. Lock It Down Eye Primer. Searching for brow pencils. Yep, that's my nightmare. Can't find the one I want. We're about to get all up in this Perfectly Balanced palette from Sydney Grace. So I had mentioned last week how I got a couple new Sydney Grace palettes. One of them is the Hot Mess palette. If you'd like to see that in action, go back a few videos. It's a really cool palette and there's more I want to do with it. But the other one that I got is their newest one. It's called Perfectly Balanced. I have the light tone option. The difference between light and dark in palettes that they make usually isn't drastic, but there will just be certain shades that just go a notch darker, you know? So I'm gonna get started today. I'm gonna start off with Hair Goals. This is a mostly matte palette, by the way, but we have three very distinct shimmers. I'm going here to this one. Hair Goals. I'm not Hair Goals today, but this is just gonna get us started with some of that warmth. Ooh, I just picked up more. Look how much I got. I'm not worried. Sydney Grace will blend. I know I mentioned like, oh, it's a really warm palette. It's not honestly that warm. These shades will catch your eye. Like these couple, maybe these two down here, really grab you, but there's a lot of real basic straight up neutrals in here too. So you have the option of going warm, but you could certainly create looks without these kinds of colors too. But look at that, great blend. The shades are soft, you know, you put your brush in, you will want to tap off a little excess, but it's not overwhelming, it's not annoying. I'm getting a little bit and I can tell I'm gonna need more. It's looking good. It's looking good. Oh, I just love how faded that can be. And then I want to go to really look for any shade that's just a little lighter than what you just used. So I'm going to go right next to it. Oh, hi. Mirror in a Mirror. This one is called Chaos Canceled. I'm going to go to this matte right beside. It's a little more peachy, a little bit softer. And I just want to see that go on the edge of that roasty toastiness. Look at that, so smooth on the outer edges. And then if we want to really get lighter close to the brow, there's this one called Always On. And we could just, like, I'm talking real close to the brow. But it's soft, but just managing to keep it light right in there. This I would call my setup for this look. I've got my crease, I've got the tone going that I want. And I was playing with this yesterday too, and I love the addition of this real dark shade down here called Oh, I thought it said No Rules, No Panic. Go into that with Morphe M303. It's really dark and it's honestly a very cool dark brown. And it looks really pretty alongside all these more warm colors. And I'm just going like my outermost corner, like outer third of the eye. Patting it in, flipping the brush, ensuring that that really gets into the depths of my crease, okay? Doesn't need to be fully blended, we're just applying. Darkest shade in the palette, welcome it in. Outer corner, okay? Not blended yet, doesn't need to be. It's got my weather update. Showers and thunderstorms, some could be intense. Okay, D. Then I'm gonna go in with my crease brush that I was working with before. And I'm gonna go straight into my crease And we're going to do a little bit of softening here first. And then I'm going to layer in a slightly softer and warmer color to sort of work over that outer corner and just kind of play up our warmth. Take a brush you've got some control with. So this is my Profusion small pointed brush. And then I'm looking for a color that's going to be like well rested or handled it. Let's go to this one right here. Handled it. And I'm going to be overlapping the darkness that entered the crease. And I'm just kind of swirling it. Circular motion. See how that's creating kind of a haze? It's giving the dark, dark stuff something to sort of work into. I love when palettes have enough of a gradient thing going on to where you can make this happen. Same shade over here, of course. We're just kind of swirling it with that brush, shaping the look a bit more, but creating just a really nice fade. Okay, then I got plans going inward here. I want to take some of this shimmer called No Problem, that really nice, kind of deep bronzy brown, right in the middle. It's so pretty, and it does have some richness, but lay that down on the middle of your lid and let it overlap the darkness that you put there. And as much as I love Sydney Grace, I would have to say we have a lot of basic shades that we're working with here, so feel free to use what you've got that you think is in the ballpark. Doing a gentle swiping motion so the shade really lays down to the fullest. But you see what we're working with there? Do you see the shine it's capable of having? I love it. I think a one shadow look could be pretty with this one, because you know when you apply shimmer with a more fluffy brush, you try to diffuse it, it's going to take on a little different life. Oh, nice sheen. Cleaning off my brush a little bit, and then we're going to go up to this other shimmer that's here called Crisis Proof. Pick some of that up, same brush, and then that's going to come in here. And it is so pretty when that overlaps with No Problem. Really pretty, really getting that bronziness that I'm after. Crisis Proof. It's funny how their palette releases went from Hot Mess to Perfectly Balanced, just in the vibe of the shade names. Okay, I'm loving that. I'm kind of wanting to see some of this shade called No Problem down on the lower lash line. I feel like it'd be pretty. It's not like, these aren't shimmers that are loaded with a bunch of glitter. They apply like smooth, creamy shimmers of the good old days, which is probably why I like Sydney Grace so much, is because these shimmers take me back to like the real richness of Too Faced and Urban Decay. Like shimmer was shimmer. It wasn't just a bunch of compressed particles of glitteriness that were going to fall out. Not every brand has mastered making those kinds of shades actually work. Some do it well, but not all. I love that color. That feels like Brown Abyss from L'Oreal in powder form. And I'm also using that same brush to just make sure it's nicely connected with the upper part of the eye as well. Love that. In fact, now that I mentioned Brown Abyss, I'm going to take a little bit of that shade just across my upper lash line and let the upper liner be really soft. It may not even contrast a whole lot, given how dark my outer corner is, but like it's giving me something there. I'm throwing on mascara, top and bottom, and we'll cap this look off with a lip. Alrighty, the mascara is on. I used the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift here on the uppers. It did okay for me. And then on my lower lashes, I used the e.l.f. Lash Extender, as usual. We do have a special guest here right now. She's lurking. She's lurking and reading. She got up early. It's Biddy.
I'm in the second book of Nancy Drew.
Classic Nancy Drew. I used to read Nancy Drew all the time, and I got her onto it. Do you have anything else to share?
Just make sure you subscribe. And also make sure you come over and pet Biscuit.
Pet Biscuit, yeah. I bet they would if they could, Biddy. For the lip, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with some Bare Affair from Revlon. So this is going to give us kind of a nude base. Nudie base. Okay. Then let's deepen the border just a little bit with this. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. I like these lip liners slash eyeliners. Chocolate Caramel definitely feels like a lip liner. And then they've got some that are darker. And just need to, I don't know, define a little bit more. Blend it in. just like so. That looks nice just as is, but then I thought this makes it look bronzy, okay? I've got one of those Glow Reviver Glimmers in the shade Choco Luxe, so I thought let's see what that looks like over top. Oh, it's bronze. It's just liquid bronze. See, that's pretty. Gives it a little bit more of a bronzy hint of brownish twist. I am loving the way it all came together, you guys. That cheek, so fun. I mean, for that, you're just thinking, let's contour with one of our contour sticks, go over it with a bronzer that has some glow, and then think of a toasty blush that would work into that look well. I don't know how essential the Milani Berry Amore step was. It looked nice, but like, even if you just applied this and then did some highlighter, I think it would still look really good. Sydney Grace always coming through, always will. And then I'm loving that lip color, actually. That's a great combo. So thank you guys for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there are other monochromatic looks that you think you would like to see in action, let me know in the comments section, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.